Hey everyone, Coach Patrick here in Endurance Nation, back with another weekly recap. Shout out to everyone who raced this week. Looks like the West Coast went beast mode on Olympic triathlon, from Linda Marie to Yasko Howell, Eugene Partridge, Al Truscott. I know you're out there, Scott Imlay. By heavens, I hope you're done running right now, my friend. I think I even saw someone doing Louisville 70.3 count up with some heat request actions. It's been a busy month for us in terms of racing. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's towing the line and putting, wheels to the road, whether they be 2 feet or 2 wheels. It's a hard time to race in this year, which is why I wanted to talk to you a little bit about post-race recovery. We talk a lot inside Endurance Nation about what it means to fuel properly. What we don't often handle is what happens to you after a race. This is typically one of your highest effort sessions of the year, if not of the last 8 to 9 weeks, because of the result of your peak. And it's a bit of a stress on your system. Add into the fact that there's waiting around after the race, there's logistics, and then there's travel as well. So how do we make sure that we recover well? It's actually a really important concept, especially for those of you doing shorter races or using races as a mechanism to get ready for your bigger race later in the year. Many of our athletes, being very busy, will stitch together 2 or 3 shorter races, 5K, 10K, Olympic distance triathlons on the way to a half, by using those weekends as a reason to get in the race prep, work harder than they would in a regular training session, and manage the logistics as well. So their schedule is something they can actually adhere to. Left to your own devices or leaving regular life up to the controls, oftentimes our weekends get away from us not being in control. So intermediary or incremental races is actually really effective. So how do we recover after we go through the session? Because we want to, at the end of the day, get back to a regular mode. Now, of course, after a race, you should expect to take anywhere from 1 to 2, even 3 days off, or 3 days very, very light as part of that recovery cycle. So step number 1 is just to set those expectations so you know that you're actually going to dial things back, right? That's just to know right out of the gate, because the worst thing you can do is actually return from training, no matter how you handle the 24 hours after race day, and get right back to it. Just dive right back into the training. Your body actually did something pretty exceptional. And depending on the effort that you put out there, the conditions in which you did it, the duration of time for which you did it, and the logistics to get you home, it could actually be really a big opportunity to mess things up if you don't do it properly. So without a doubt, always make sure that you know just how much time you need to rest efforts. If you have questions, hit me up Monday night office hours. I'm happy to answer those. But what about the short term? What about post-race? Number 1, your top priority is to find the coolest stuff behind the finish line here in August to get yourself cool and reduce your core body temperature, right? So if that's a bucket of water, just get all your devices out of your pockets before you sit in that bucket of water. If it's ice, do that. If it's a cold drink, do that as well. If you've got like hot stuff on you or just super sweaty stuff, getting that off as quickly as you can make a big difference. Water is a conductor of heat, but over time, as that water heats up and sticks on your body, particularly in these more humid temperatures here in the Northeast, it's not actually doing its job. It's actually inhibiting the airflow to your skin because it's not evaporating. And so you have to really accelerate that, wiping off your arms, wiping off your face, just getting super cool. That's why those small towels, hand towels after this, can make a big difference. Okay. Now, if your race is small, like back of the yard kind of small, then you can plan ahead according yourself by bringing a cooler in your car that has cold water, maybe some Coke or some other associated recovery drink that you want to have, like chocolate milk, and some cool towels. So you can actually pour the water on towels and wipe yourself down and accelerate that cooling process. Okay. Number 2, we actually want to spend some time sitting down with our legs out, or if at all possible, in a reclining position. The exertion on your system in the heat, as your body's struggling to deliver oxygen to your muscles, but also managing the heat load, is actually pretty extreme. And while you don't want to necessarily wrap yourself in compression boots on an 85 or 90 degree day, you can use gravity to your effect by actually sitting down. If you can't sit in a nice cool river, like say Steamboat has in your finish line, then you can always just go find a place in the shade and elevate your legs. Put them up on a lawn chair, put them up on a stump, or just lay down for a little bit. Of course, this is after you've already changed your clothes, cooled down, and had something cool to drink, right? The idea being that here, at this point in time, we're going to use gravity to help accelerate the flow of blood and the redistribution of blood, not just relying on your infrastructure and your heart to do all the work, because it's been working a heck of a lot of hard time already. Okay. All right. Now, once we've done that, it's an opportunity for you to sit up slowly, because you may be a little dizzy, and just reorient yourself. Check your pulse rate, check your RPE, see how you feel. What do you need? At this point in time, you may want to start thinking about food. By now, it should be about 30 to 40, 45 minutes after your race. Your heart rate has come down. You've cooled off. You've changed your clothes. You've had something cool to drink, and you've also elevated your legs for a little bit. Now it's time to actually start thinking about some kind of calories. There's always, obviously, fresh stuff at the finish line. But if it's not your jam, again, plan ahead. If you've got special needs, you can actually go ahead and have some of the items with you in the car, or at the very least, have a plan for going to obtain those on the way home. What don't you want to do after a race? Well, perhaps you enjoy a nice cold beer, but having a cold beer right after a hard race is not your best bet, particularly if you're dehydrated. It can actually really set you back and actually make that drive home far more dangerous than you anticipate. So, the idea of having a cold beer, like capture that essence and that vibe, but I really wouldn't recommend it unless somebody else is driving you home. Simply because the combination of dehydration and fatigue can really impact your ability to be responsible on the road. Okay. And also, alcohol is a diuretic and is going to only just accelerate the loss of fluids from your system, which is a problem we're trying to reverse. Okay. Now, we've done everything we can after the race. We've done everything from cooling yourself off, changing your clothes, elevating your legs, getting some calories in. You've packed up the car by now after all of that. Last step, don't start cleaning up first. You OCD people, just chill out, eat, drink, take care of yourself first. Bike's not going anywhere, right? Your stuff's not going anywhere. Then we can actually start thinking about the trip home. Now, depending on how far you have to go, it's really important to plan ahead. And by that, I mean actually having places where you can stop and just stretch your legs a little bit. Ideally, every hour, you can get about 2 or 3 minutes outside of the car just walking about. That could just mean popping into a convenience store, but it could also mean just finding a safe place off of an exit, off of the freeway, wherever you may be, just to do a little quick walk. All right. Again, we're just trying to get your blood flowing and avoid that cramping position. Again, sitting in a car, very similar to being on a bike in the aero bar position, and you're just shortening all your muscles back up again at a time when they're just at their most stressed. And so having some mobility in here is going to prevent that delayed onset of muscle soreness in the next day. It's also just good best practices, right? Avoid cramping and just take care of your body. And you probably will just enjoy like a nice little stretch out. Okay. Just take a break. It's also just good for safe, healthy driving. In fact, I pretty much do it all the time anyway, just to stretch out my legs, because sitting in the car for that long, for extended hours, 3, 4, 5 hours, is just too much. Okay, so you want to think about it, right? And the last, but certainly not least thing is when you're thinking about this long trip home, especially if you're driving home by yourself, have someone who knows you're coming or somebody you can pick up the phone and talk to. I myself am known to get a little sleepy after, say, a sugar crash, believe it or not, after a race, and having someone to talk to or just walk through that is really helpful. Someone you can get on the phone to keep you on point, and also just kind of gut check where you're at, right? If you're kind of like losing your train of thought or just not feeling so great, you may not really be internalizing that, but your friend or your spouse or your significant other will be like, you don't sound so good. Like, we need to take action on this. And they can be your guiding light at a time when probably your decision-making skills are just about as slow as they are in your first transition of the race of the season. All right. So when you think about racing and you think about doing some of these hot races in the summer, really be smart about that post-race recovery. It doesn't take a lot. The order of events really matters, right? So cooling yourself off, changing those clothes, elevating those legs, finding those calories. After all of that, once you feel pretty good, we can then reorient ourselves to cleaning up and getting ourselves ready to get out of there. Until then, don't let anybody rush you. No one else is going anywhere else. Take care of yourself and do it right. The last thing you want to do is leave something behind or skip one of those critical steps. It's going to inhibit your ability to recover over the long term over the course of this week, but also could perhaps jeopardize your trip back home. Of course, don't forget, wear that medal with pride, save it, be smart. You will not get a discount at the convenience store on your way home, although you're welcome to represent inside there. But we inside the team would love to see it. Share a picture of you on the podium or anything else. We will celebrate with you deeply. Can't wait to hear about the stories. And until then, be safe, my friends, race fast, and I'll see you online.